Namaste, this is Dr.Samarth. I am practicing at Amrita Ayurvedic Center in Baswangudi. This episode, we will talk about all the different foods and activities that you should not do if you have a condition such as a loose bowels. Loose bowels in Ayurveda, it is called as Atisara. If you look at the term Atisara, we can easily say that Atisara means going bowels in a frequent way. When the bowel movements become frequent, you should understand that the food particles are also not digested properly in the system. When the food particles are not digested properly in the system, then you should understand that there is a problem such as Atisara that has set in, or loose bowels. Loose bowels occurs in various conditions. The basic thing is contamination of food. So you have a virus or bacteria that gets into your system through food, and then what happens? Then a process sets in where you can have loose bowels. There are other different conditions such as an inflammatory bowel problem or an irritable bowel problem or other different aspects which can also cause loose bowels. Ayurveda looks at it in a very clear way. It has because of aggravation of Vata dosha, another type of Atisara is because of Pitta dosha, then because of Kapha dosha, then because of all the three doshas, then there is something called as Agamtuja Atisara. What is Agamtuja Atisara is loose bowels that are caused because of external factors. What are the external factors? The first thing that gets affected because of external factors is your mind. So when you are in a situation of fear, there is also loose bowels or improper digestion happening. And also when there is grief, there is also loose bowels happening. You can see that people traumatized with war or going through a lot of mental tortures also have Bhayaja Atisara because of fear, and Shokhada Atisara, that is because of grief. So these are the two powerful emotions that can call Atisara or loose bowels. So this episode, I will tell you certain don'ts that you should not do when you are having loose bowels. The first is you should avoid waking up too late in the morning. See, in the biological clock, I have told you that the Kapha Kala in the morning is between 6 to 10 a.m. in the morning. So it is very important that you do not wake up during this time. You wake up before this time. So one thing is waking up, very late in the morning, and also staying late in the night. If you are doing night duties and everything, staying too late up in the night also will hamper the process of digestion. You should understand, after you eat your dinner and you lie down and sleep, that whole reclining position will help the food settle well and get absorbed very well. You can understand that when you put a glass of sambar in a vessel, you can see that all the thick gravy gets settled down and the water at the top is there. So similarly, when you eat a lot of food and when you lie down, especially in the night, the food settles well, and there is a process where the body separates all the liquid portion where it gets absorbed into the bloodstream and through the kidneys and gets excreted, and the solid form that settles well and is absorbed well and then goes as stools. So the whole process of stool formation and urine formation is best done and happening when you sleep. So try to avoid waking up late in the night and continuing to sleep very early in the morning. Second thing that you should avoid is doing oil massages. So before your bath, rubbing your body parts and everything, because your body is already exhausted, try and avoid body massages and rubbing. During Atisara, one more thing that you should avoid is holding the calls of nature. When you have urgency to defecate and urinate, make sure you go and do it. You don't stop yourself. So by stopping yourself, what happens is it increases your Atisara. Avoid black gram related foods. Black gram is very heavy to digest. So you have urad dal. the one that is put in dosa, idli and vada. So this is very, very heavy to digest. So when you have a loose bowel situation because of various reasons, when you consume foods that are very heavy to digest, so this causes aggravation of your problem. So avoid foods that are heavy to digest, such as urad dal items and all the meats and the non-vegetarian food, because they're very heavy to digest. So avoid it. Next you should avoid is peas. In Kannada we call this as batani. So this also is very heavy to digest, causes bloating, gas formation. So please avoid it. The other important vegetable that is very good for the joints but is told not to consume if you have gut related issues is drumsticks. So drumsticks are a very good source of different kinds of minerals and vitamins, but this is totally unacceptable to be consumed when you have loose bowels. Mangoes are another thing. If you have loose bowels and digestive issues, please avoid mangoes. You understand mangoes are very sweet to taste, but they are very complex to digest inside. So when you consume mangoes, especially when you have diarrhea, there is a very high chance that it just increases your problem. So another is putting betel nut, and the other important big vegetable is ash gourd, booth kumulkai or pumpkins also, because they are good sources of water content in these fruits, but they are very heavy to digest, and they are told as apatya, especially when you are having gut issues and when you have loose bowels. Sugar cane and sugar related juices. So sometimes you have the feeling that you are a little exhausted, you have to consume a little bit of electrolytes. Electrolytes is fine, but over consuming of sugar cane and sugar added products also will stimulate your gut, and your frequent bowel will increase. Heavy to digest items is something that you should totally avoid. Like I told you, urad dal and non-vegetarian foods. If you consume alcohol, that also aggravates your loose bowels. Another important, very good ingredient that is very wholesome and called amruta in Ayurveda is garlic. Garlic should not be consumed when you have loose bowels or diarrhea. So this episode I have spoken to you all about all the foods and everything that you should not consume. Next episode I'm going to tell you all the foods that you have to do so that you can control your diarrhea. Thank you.